A lot of teams have fallen apart in March throughout the years, like Purdue or Iowa State. In this video, we're going to give you some teams who we think will not perform come tourney time. And for the first team, Texas Tech is who we're going to go with. What do you got, Kyle?
Well, the thing with Texas Tech, they just keep winning these games, but I'm just going to keep on doubting them. The reasons I'm doubting them, they're just simply not deep enough. They essentially have two players on the whole team, Tristan Anderson and JT Toppin. They lead the team in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. Obviously, some of those each way, but that's really all they got. Third leading scorer, Lawan Watts, 13 points. That also shows they're just not deep. They don't have enough players on the team that are deep enough, in my opinion, to carry them. They also have 5 players on the team averaging over 28 minutes a game. It's a 40-minute game. In my opinion, it's just not deep enough to make a run in March.
And after a long season in March, if you want to win 3-4 games, players are going to get tired eventually. You can't just ride off the back off of just the starting 5 and maybe one bench player.
If they come out and play on Thursday and they do win, which they should, whoever they play, because they're going to be a high seed, they're going to come out with 1 day rest and play again. And who knows if they get challenged earlier. You just never know. I just don't feel it's deep enough, and it's pretty one-dimensional. I do think that between Anderson and Toppin, it's potentially the best 1-2 punch, but it just doesn't go much deeper than that. And they're young, so they do have upside, but I just can't buy in fully especially they're probably going to end up being a 2 or 3 seed, and that's just.
And like you said, in the second game, if they get a bad poll like George Mason or maybe like a big East team that's a lower seed, that's going to be tough for them. All right, on to the second team. I got Alabama. Now, some people might not think this is going to be like a super high seed come March because they did just fall out of the top 25. But I think just historically, especially the last 5 years, Bama's always been one of the top teams. I think this is the first time in 2 years that they've actually fallen out of the top 25. But I'm going to fade them probably round 1 in March. Their defense is terrible this year, way worse than it has been in the past. They turn the ball over a lot on offense, and their injuries or their lineup has not really been consistent because of the amount of injuries.
I don't feel like Bama could stop a cold right now. And the thing is that, and it's been that way the last couple of years, they don't have a dominant defense. They had a couple playmakers that'll block a few big shots and big moments. But at the end of the day, if you look back at some of their box scores, they're winning 100-90. And again, like I said with Texas Tech, 40-minute game. It's not the NBA. You know, there's a lot of games that end up much lower scoring than that, and they were having to score points to win. I feel like they got worse on defense and not better on offense to keep maintaining that.
And their offense, they score a ton of points, but they turn the ball over a lot. Their ball security is terrible, so the high turnover rate gives opponents easy fast break points. And in March, you will not win if you get out-rebounded, dominated in the paint, and turn the ball over. It's simple as that.
I agree. Next team I'm going with is Utah State. This is a team that is it's a 2-player dependent team, and they're both guards. I don't like their big men on their team. And this is a tricky team because they might end up only being like a 7 seed, but they're going to have a flashy record going in because they're just not going to lose very much in the Big West. They're not going to lose very many conference games. So they could end up a higher seed than they deserve even. But I feel like the committee will see it for what it is too. Their leading big scores 8.6 a game. That's just not enough. I don't care what your guards are. I don't care what you got. You got to get something, at least a threat of an interior score. It has to happen. And next with that, ties right into the bigs. Their leading rebounder on their team, 5.9 rebounds a game. That just ain't going to do it.
That's the leading rebounder?
Leading rebounder, Carson Templin, 5.9 boards per game. It's just not going to cut it. Also with that, Mason Fauslev and MJ Collins are the only 2 players averaging double figures. Both the guards. That's where I was referenced earlier, the 2 guards they got. And I just don't feel like it's enough. You have to have some guy. I'll live and die by saying guards win in March because they do. But you can't have no big man. You have to, at minimum, have a threat. And if they got nobody averaging 10 points or 8 boards, 5.6 boards as a leading rebounder is crazy. And that shows that you're not forcing that many misses. And you're slow. Slow team.
Yeah, something I just looked up here and saw. ranked 269 in like giving up free throws to the other team. So their big man doesn't get a lot of boards. He doesn't score a bunch, and he sends a lot to the line. So I don't like teams.
Slow-paced game.
Yeah, I don't like teams that foul a lot and send the other team to the line, especially in March. And the final team here, who do you got, Kyle?
I hate to do this, but it's Villanova. It's just not Jay Wright's Nova. It's just not anymore. And they think it's going to be because they got Kevin Willard. What is Kevin Willard? 4-7 in March Madness history with Seton Hall and Maryland. I get it. Some of them, he did raise the level of their team to get in there. You can say it's coaching. And I'll admit, they've impressed me a little bit early in Big East play for sure. They're challenging games. They're winning games. But again, kind of fitting the trend of what I picked at the other teams, I don't feel that they can finish the games. They have also, just like Texas Tech, have 5 players averaging 28 minutes a game. It's just a lot. And if you think back on champions, I'm not saying you have to have a dominant bench or a high-scoring bench or anything like that, but you got to have a bench that can get in there, play some minutes so that late in a tight game that's not supposed to be tight, your starters can come back in and win the game for you. They also average 10.5 turnovers a game, which is pretty high. Their leading scorer is 14 points a game. I just don't see that as quite enough. They do. I think they have 2 or 3. I wish I knew a little better for it. We can look that up and do that if you need, Braden. But 14 points per game as a leading scorer, it's just not quite enough either. If you're going to have that, if you're going to turn it over that much, you got to have somebody that can go get you 20 consistently. Not you got to average it, but you got to be able to go get it. And I just don't feel that they have it. And the defensively, too, they've impressed me some, but they just don't have anything of stats, in my opinion.
Yeah, here it seems like they give up a lot of offensive rebounds to the other team. They don't really get to the line, and they're 321st in blocks per game. So I don't think other teams are going to have trouble getting to the basket. I think with Villanova, they're just going to have to make a lot of threes if they want to go far, and I don't like leaning on the three-pointer come March.
Especially when you got 5 players averaging 28 minutes a game. They're gonna have noodle legs late in a tight game. And they're not going to be a high enough seed where they can breeze through the round of 64 and round of 32. They're going to have a tough round 32 game because they're probably going to land at like a 6 to 8 at best. And that's if they finish Big East play strong, which they could not because the Big East, don't take me wrong, Big East isn't what it was still. But it's better than what it was last year. They got some teams that can compete.
And they have a losing record against Quad 1 teams. They're 0-3 against Quad 1A, and Quad 1 they're 3-4. So they aren't performing well against great teams.
Yeah, I just don't. Summing up all 3 teams, in all honesty, that I picked, Texas Tech, Utah State, Villanova, to me, you got to have depth. You don't necessarily have to have a flashy bench or high points, but you got to be able to get players on the floor that can play and play defense at minimum to substitute those crucial minutes.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below who you think are frauds come March and what we got wrong. If you disagree with any of the 4 teams that we gave, see you in the next video.